Hello, my darlings. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of reflexology with you today. The lovely Elliot is here to help me, and Boo, having yet another excruciating day. The dog warden must be exhausted with the amount of times he needs to come up and sort out Boo's horrific, dreadful, hard-working life. She's shattered, as you can see. Anyway, I've got Elliot's feet today because, as I said, I'm going to be showing you a little bit of reflexology, and it's only on a friends and family basis, so it's completely safe. And, you know, I'm not training you up as therapists. I'm giving you lovely tips and techniques because the soles of our feet are very like the palms of our hands and the top of our heads and our ears. It's a map of who we are and links all our nerves with our internal organs. This is amazing, honestly. I'm on such a neuroscientific, nerdy world today. It's just so fascinating how we're made. But a lot of the children I work with and a lot of the emails I've been getting from parents recently over Zoom sessions as well, they've all said to me, but my child might not like touch, but they really love having their feet massaged. And when you're massaging feet, that's basically reflexology on its very basic level. But reflexology has been practiced for thousands of years, since the ancient Egyptian, Japanese and Chinese times. There's even paintings of reflexology and people working on hands and feet in Egyptian crypts. How amazing is that? They were so in tune. But if any of you are worried about the scientific research for nowadays, the pioneers of that were really in about the 1890s, Sir Henry Head and Sir Charles Sherrington, and they proved beyond all doubt that the central nervous system responded to external stimuli, outside factors such as touch. Oh my God, this is why I love it so much. Honestly, I could explode with joy. But the thing is, they proved on a neurological level the link between the nerves, the skin and the nerves and the internal organs. And the nerves feed the information from the skin into the internal organs and send neurological messages back up to the brain and work on those parts of us. So it's absolutely fascinating. Then at the turn of the 20th century, Dr. William Fitzgerald took it another stage further and proved that if you worked on different zones of the feet, and there are 5 on the feet, leading from each toe, or from the heel up to each toe, there are your 5 zones on each toe, on each foot, sorry, and there are also zones running from your hands down your arms and back to your hands again. So that's why reflexology also incorporates the hands. And he proved beyond all doubt that when you work on different zones, different internal organs responded to those zones. So reflexology began to kind of get that name. And the final person who really turned it into the reflexology that we recognise today was a lady called Eunice Ingham. And she did all the charts that we're so familiar with. And this video is actually accompanying an article I'm writing for Anna Kennedy. It's week 12 of my therapy articles for Anna Kennedy Online. And if you want to know a little bit more about the science behind it, click on annakennedyonline.co.uk. And I'm on there. I get everywhere. Like I said in one of my other videos, I'm like a rash. I'm a bit contagious, a bit infectious. That sounds terrible in these times of COVID, but it's in a lovely way because I love you all. And I'm finding all these different ways to help you. And Elliot's going to love this because what I'm really focusing on today is blending my knowledge of reflexology and touch with trying to reach as many kids as I can, and I'd love to see them all. And honestly, I can hardly keep up with my emails at the moment. There are so many, and I don't mean that in a tired way, or you keep writing to me. I love it. I want to help, but it takes me forever to go through them all. But the common theme at the moment, particularly as we're kind of finding whatever our new normal is, and kids have got a lot of anxiety about going back to school. There was a report done, I'm going off on one, but I need to tell you this. There was a recent report I read that about 74% of our children were feeling extreme anxiety in their bodies and minds before COVID. But since COVID and being at home, that's actually significantly dropped by as much as 20% in some areas. So that's all building up again now because the kids are not only returning to school, but they've been out of school for a whole academic term, and now we've had the holidays, we're still not out of COVID, and they don't know where they are. And a lot of the children I've seen in my therapy chalet this week are very, very anxious about becoming ill. They're terrified of corona, absolutely terrified. So it's taking a lot for them to go back to school, and mental health, as I've said on my previous videos, is escalating. Now, touch is a lovely way to cross all those barriers, because not all the children I see speak English. I can speak French and a bit of Italian, but you know, I can't speak Eastern European languages, you know, so touch crosses those barriers. If a child is deaf or blind, it crosses those barriers, as I've said on videos before. So it really is, and it's central throughout our lives. It's the sense we have when we're born, that we explore the world with before our eyes are even open, and it's central right until we leave this earth. I bet you didn't know that. I didn't know that until a recent training. It's fascinating. Anyway, so back to the feet. So I'm going to be working on the zones, and I'm just going to give you a few little tips. And it doesn't matter if you don't know exactly which are the different zones and exactly which point you're on. I'm going to try and show you as best I can. As I say, if you want to know more about it, I'm posting charts on my public Facebook group, Online Therapies for Kids and Families, and for Anna Kennedy Online. That will be on from tomorrow. So you can, if you really want more detail, it's there. But what I want to do is give you just a kind of beginner's feel on a friends and family basis for any of you who actually like your own feet being massaged and who doesn't, and for your kids. So while Boo has her really excruciating time, I'm going to demonstrate a few things. So the first thing is, when you first begin a little bit of foot massage, it's really nice just to cradle the heels, and my hands have gone lovely and warm. And I have used a basic carrier oil, a grapeseed oil. You can't really do reflexology on anybody who has blood clots, open wounds, fungal skin infections, or epilepsy. So yeah, just be a bit careful with that, a little bit. But with the oils, you can use lavender, because obviously you're not massaging the feet with anyone with epilepsy, so that's okay. And I've used a little blend of lavender, chamomile and rosewood, because lavender and chamomile are very, very deeply calming, and reflexology calms the entire nervous system and stimulates all our circulation. It regulates our hormones. It's amazing, isn't it, how just touch can send that message through the nerves to the internal organs and the central nervous system, which can then adjust the tension in order to what it's receiving from the outside. I just find that amazing. Do you know, I'd love to teach. I'd love to do amazing programs about science, because I just think if kids learnt it like this, they'd be so engaged. Anyway, that's another story. I'm waffling on because I'm like having a nerdy explosion again. So I've got lavender, chamomile and rosewood. Rosewood is like a cuddle in a bottle. So I use that a lot when I go into children's homes, or I'm working with kids who are transitioning from foster care into adoption, or, you know, children's homes into social care, all this sort of thing. Young offenders, you know, I take it in there and do it with the young offenders. Bless their little hearts. Do you know, I love them all. I bring them all home with me. I'm going to need an absolute mansion. So you just cradle the feet like that. And what you could do is, you walk like a caterpillar. So you know how caterpillars go like this, make a little hump and then walk and push their little bodies out. That's what you're doing, caterpillar walking. So you always hold the foot, you've always got a hand supporting the foot. And I'm going to go up each zone like a little caterpillar. And I'm going up to the big toe, which is the head and the brain. The first 3 toes are the head and the brain. And this is fantastic when you work there, because it eases, especially for people with ADHD, ADD, or ADHD mostly, and PDA, where there's that real hyperactivity. It will really calm that. So I'm doing my little caterpillar walk up the foot, up to each toe from the heel. And you do that on each foot, because if you do it on one foot, you balance by doing it on the other foot. The only time you don't do that is when you're working on the stomach point, because that's only found on the left foot. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, because the stomach is ever so important, because the stomach is a massive, massive part of the gut. And as you might know, those of you who've trained with me, I do a lot on the gut, because it houses our enteric or second brain. But for those of you just tuning into my YouTube videos, you'll know that when you work on the gut, you're working on that seat of meltdown. So This is caterpillar zone walking, I call it. I've made a little fun game for my rainbows. You know what I'm like. I can never just do, oh, we're having a reflexology session. It's never like that. We do lucky dip boxes, and zone caterpillar walking is in one of those. Or I might do treasure hunts around reflexology. So play with it. As I always say, take this knowledge and play with it, because I'm only sharing with you on a friends and family basis. And for those of you who've trained with me, it all adds to that menu, that delicious sweetie shop of letting the children be in charge and choose what they want when it comes to touch. Because if a child is in control of touch, if you've got a child who is touch averse, put them in charge of it, or even just show them to begin with how to do it on themselves, you'll quickly find they'll let you give them the touch. So meet the child where they are at. I know I say this in every video, you probably feel like throwing a brick at your screens, but it's true. If you meet the person where they're at and hold that space, you'll find their point of access, and you'll be able to balance and stimulate their whole system and get that flow going. So then the next thing is soul kneading, and this is very easy because you're just doing little strokes up the foot. Are you feeling nice and calm, Elliot?
That's nice.
See?
Very nice.
I'm a good little reflexologist. And and every child loves this, you know. Some of the children who have come to me even like it when I just rub their soles. They absolutely love that. Even just standing with your bare feet on ground, walking slowly and mindfully is a form of reflexology, because you're fully feeling with all the soles of your feet, and it's lovely anyway. Even if it's raining, I like it. I must look like a real weirdo.
Wet grass.
Oh, sorry about the laugh. Does that feel good?
Yeah, wet grass feels amazing.
Wet grass is good. Yes, you could. I do this for all the children who come to see me outside all the time. Get them to stand on the grass and then massage. It's lovely. Anyway, so then the other thing that I want to share with you, what you could do as well when you stimulate, like in normal massage, if you just hold the foot gently, you can glide down like this. Just glide down so that you're bringing the energy back down after all that stimulation. So you could do it like this, and all the kids just love this. You can even use your hand like this and stroke down, which is also very lovely to get the child used to touch. But it's a nice firm touch. You're not tickling them. Don't forget, if anybody's got autism, if you tickle them, it will feel like burning, or they won't be able to bear it. It will be a sensory overload. On that note, if you have a child with sensory processing challenges and they really don't like skin on skin, it's an overwhelm, you could do this through socks. You can massage the hands through gloves. Put the child in charge, have fun with it. You know, turn it into a story, dress them up like a snowman, make it a story about sledging through the snow or walking up a mountain in the snow. So you could turn it into a reflexology story massage. That's only just come to me. I'm going to try that. That's just come to me. See, it flows all the time. I'm going to try that. Little rainbows out there, if you're tuning in, it's coming your way. Okay? Your reflexology story massage. Right. So then I've written a few on a bit of paper here. There's so many I could go off on one. So I've got my little bit of paper to keep me on track, because otherwise you'll all feel like killing me. So then, now, this is a really good tip. If you suffer with, I didn't mean to point, it's just because I'm excited. If you suffer with anxiety or depression, if you just press the centre of your own big toe, right in the middle, press, hold for 3, and then release. Press, hold for 3, and then release. If you do that on each of your big toes 3 times a day, or you do it for your child, there will be a significant reduction in depression and anxiety, because you're working on the head. Oh my God, I don't know how I contain myself. Oh, I love it. You can also rotate the toe clockwise and then anti-clockwise. And this is really getting the brain moving, getting it stimulated, boosting focus. By pressing the toe like this as well, you're stimulating sleep, better mood, better aggression levels. So you're minimizing all of that as well, just by doing things to the big toe. First 3 toes, head and the brain. And on top of the toes here is the teeth and the face. And you can just glide over that or rub them. And you're working on the teeth and the face. And if you're working on the face, you're working on the gut. Enteric brain. Oh my God. I honestly can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's so amazing. I could go on and on and on, but I won't. I'm just sharing a few things. So then there's the stomach, and that's only on the left foot. So what you're doing is you're literally using the thumb to walk or glide downwards like this. So you can glide like that. And this is the diaphragm line as well, and the solar plexus, so where we hold on to that tension, that fear, where anxiety starts before it gets buried in the stomach. So this is wonderful. And on each foot, and you can glide like this from that stomach point, or you can just gently do that little caterpillar walk down like this, slowly and mindfully. The other thing you could do, and it's in line with the big toe, is you can press the adrenal points, the adrenaline, where the adrenaline comes from. This will ease stress, and if you ease stress, which is behind 99% of all illness, that's proven by Professor Alexander Lloyd and Dr. Ben Johnson in their book, The Healing Touch, 30 years of research, scientific research. 99% of illness is caused by stress. So when you just press that point there, press, hold for 3, release. You could even get the person to breathe with you. And this drops, as they call it, the whole central nervous system out of that agitated fight or flight sympathetic system, which doesn't sound very sympathetic at all. It drops it from that down into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest, relax, learn, retain information. So look at all these benefits, and that's just by pressing that point. And what it also does when you do reflexology with your child or whoever you're with or on yourself, you're also stimulating the neuropeptide system. Sounds like a drink, doesn't it? Yay, 2 litres of neuropeptide. Sorry, I can't behave. I can't ever behave. And I'm not doing retakes. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Sounds a bit like Pepsi. Sorry, calm down, back in the room. Neuropeptide. So, and that gives stress a flipping good bash. Just by doing that, Elliot's stress hormone and the adrenaline, that's being bashed. Flattened and bashed. Love that word, bashed. You can feel it.
Flintstones.
Flintstones, that's right. So when I press like this, I could say to Elliot, right, Elliot, if you breathe in, and then when I release, breathe out. And do it with them, okay? That absolutely massively calms hyperactivity as well as stress. So Elliot, who has already shared with you very kindly that he has ADHD, this will really help reduce the hyperactivity. Because Elliot has also shared he has dyslexia, by doing all the soul massage, this helps boost the blood and oxygen to the brain and fires all the happy hormones and coping chemicals. So, and focus, motivation, attention. So this will massively help with dyslexia, because with dyslexia, obviously, you know, what often goes hand in hand with that is short-term memory issues and challenges. You remember what's important.
Oh, yeah.
So actually there's a bit of sense to it, I think. See, there's always a flip side, always a flip side. I hate the way all these labels are addressed negatively. And people with dyslexia are extremely creative, very good at sport often, hence Elliot and his rugby from yesterday's video. See, it's all linked. So there we go. And then another one, because reflexology is also on the hands, I've shared it on previous videos, is if you cup your hands and you press in that deepest point, you're also working on that diaphragm level, that stomach level, that deep-rooted seat of anxiety. So that's another way to get rid of anxiety through touch, using reflexology. And with the hands, the first 3 fingers are the head and the brain again, exactly the same as the toe. So when you squeeze your fingers, you're working on the brain. You can caterpillar walk up them as well. So I do lots of things like this with my children, and I've shared just a few, and I'll share some more because I've had a lot of requests for this. But this is good, just a little beginner's guide to get you going. But that's what you're doing. So people may call it alternative or holistic or well-being. Those words are all banned from my website, because what we're actually doing, whilst having fun and drinking lots of 2-litre neuropeptides, is we are working on a neurological level. Oh my God, we are. I love my job so much. So I'm going to just calm Elliot down now, because obviously he would have been absolutely thrilled by this whole neuroscience lecture that it's turned into, but at least he's had his feet massaged. So I'm just bringing him down to calm. But you know, even just holding somebody's heels like that,
It's actually very comforting.
isn't it comforting?
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. That's mad. It's really comforting, and just doing that alone slowly get somebody used to touch if they've got sensory processing issues, challenges. But it's also very holding. And very often I find when I just do this for my rainbow kids, they're all my rainbow kids, I've got millions, it really, because they feel held, they will very often talk. And it's lovely, but it's coming from them and not because I'm interrogating them or leading them. They tell me where they're at, and then I can meet them. And it can be through something as simple as doing this. So meet your child, whoever they are, have fun with it, turn it into games, turn it into stories. As I said, go on Anna Kennedy online or my public Facebook group if you want to know a little bit more about the areas. And really, it's just touch. It's just simple touch. We've had it since we were little cavemen running around, trailing our arms behind us like gorillas. So you could do it now. And I shall leave you on that note. I'm sorry I've been a little bit badly behaved, but then again, that's normal. It was just a bit worse today. But I shall leave you with those thoughts. Go and have fun, my darlings, and I shall see you soon.